वो दिन कितने प्यारे थे, ये दिन भी कितने प्यारे हैं। तब बाबा साथ हमारे थे, तब बाबा साथ हमारे थे। बाबा अब भी साथ हमारे हैं।
पहले परिवर्तन शक्ति है, स्वरूप का परिवर्तन। और आगे बढ़ो तो स्वभाव का परिवर्तन। पुराना स्वभाव पुरुषार्थी जीवन में धोखा देता है और समझते भी हो कि ये मेरा स्वभाव यथार्थ नहीं है और ये स्वभाव समय प्रति समय धोखा भी देता है, ये भी समझते हो। लेकिन फिर भी स्वभाव के वश हो जाते। फिर अपने बचाव के लिए क्या कहते हो कि मेरा भाव नहीं था, मेरा स्वभाव है। मैं चाहता या चाहती नहीं हूं, लेकिन मेरा स्वभाव। जन्म बदल गया, ब्राह्मण बन गए तो जन्म बदला ना, संबंध बदल गया, बाप बदल गया, माँ बदल गई, परिवार बदल गया, लेकिन स्वभाव नहीं बदला। फिर रॉयल शब्द क्या कहते हो? मेरी नेचर है। आप बुरा नहीं मानना, मेरी नेचर। पहली कमजोरी स्वरूप का परिवर्तन, दूसरा स्वभाव का परिवर्तन, तीसरा संकल्प का परिवर्तन। व्यर्थ को समृद्ध में सेकंड में परिवर्तन कर। बच्चे, मैं आपके सदा साथ हूं।
Om Shanti. Transformation of old sanskars and old nature. Natural nature means your eternal sanskars. Let your nature constantly be like that of the Father, that is, constantly a bestower of blessings, constantly uplifting those who defame you, and constantly merciful. When you adopt this nature, you won't have to make effort. In order to take happiness from nature, adopt your own original and eternal nature. Natural nature means your eternal sanskars. If you remain under the influence of your body conscious nature, you repeatedly lose courage. You yourself say for this that you understand everything, that you want that, and yet such is your nature. This too is the activity of body consciousness. Now transform the old nature and old sanskars. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Welcome to Vikti Parivar. Today's day 15, transformation of old sanskars and old nature. Today's topic is natural nature means your eternal sanskars. Now we will listen to Mohini Didi and then we will listen to Brother Ken.
Om Shanti, everyone. Yeah, lots of love from Shanti One. Really beautiful here to see Baba's unlimited family. Shanti One is full. It's like an ocean of people, Baba's children. Every time we listen to a Vyakti signal, if we really listen carefully, Baba is giving us many yuktis or methods to become what is natural. Anything which is natural is definitely powerful. In these days, about food, about air, for everything, we want it natural, clean. These days in everything, even in the milk, they say added vitamin D, added this one, this thing. In a way, it's supplement, but it's adulterated. But I thought it's a very beautiful method Baba is giving us to think of that what sanskars I need to cultivate. Because if I pay attention to cultivate those sanskars, how do we cultivate sanskars? We understand, we think about it, it comes in the words and actions, and then it becomes our attitude, and then they become sanskars. Because we have to see how whatever sanskars we have, how do they emerge in our nature. No? Nature has two nature. One is our personal nature. Another is nature, elements. So we are controlled by nature. We call it swabhav. And they come from the sanskars. So let's see. Baba's sanskars are of a bestower of blessings. So at present, we have to think, speak, and also in actions be the bestower of blessings. Because when you are sharing blessings, the power is coming to you. Blessing you giving to someone, but those thoughts are in your mind. So first those blessings are working on you. Then Baba says, those who defame you, Brahma Baba also said in the end, they are your friends. So we should never change our feelings towards those who defame us. And then become merciful. So then you will still be able to bestow. Not only I don't take on what the criticism is, but also be merciful. Now these three important qualities, bestowing blessings and also forgiveness, but third is merciful. So if we pay attention, use these virtues in our actions, I think our nature will definitely get transferred. Now, if we want to be happy, then our nature has to be eternal. Because of body consciousness, we have old way, feeling bad about this, feeling very sensitive nature. So we take in everything, but which we shouldn't. Right? If someone is doing something, saying, that is that one's nature, but why should I be affected? And of course, it's the body consciousness. So another way to transform is to remind you of your eternal and original nature. Eternal nature is loveful, peaceful, pure. So adopt to uh, eternal nature, and that will become also your sanskars. Because now, how do I know that there is influence of body consciousness? It is so interesting the way there is influence of body consciousness. We even don't know, right, that this is body consciousness. And body consciousness is bringing the influence of old nature. In case you have nature of sulking, you are nature to get upset and let your feelings be hurt, taking sorrow. Each one of us know that what are the main. Another is my own eternal nature. These two practices are very important. I like very much whole day whenever you find your getting confused, or you are getting affected, or you're not feeling strong, just think about eternal nature, which is purity, which is power, which is love. And when you create that, and then think about Baba's three qualities, because everything in life is practice. Even if there is a very, very good engineer or doctor, if they don't practice, right? So they won't be able to do right things. But what I notice, mm, which I think Baba's children can do more, but because of lack of attention or the aim, mm, that we don't practice that much. So if we don't practice, the transformation will not happen. That feeling of being elevated, uplifted, flying, very light, happy, mm, to be consistent in those feelings, one needs to have a good practice. And I think that contentment in Brahmin life is when you feel you are making enough efforts, you are feeling transformation, you are feeling that you are changing, progress, improvement, all that brings contentment. But if you always find you are same and end up in the same feeling, same routine, I find those who have aim, they find time. They find time, even few minutes every hour or every few hours, because there is inner pull. Mhm. And also what I notice at this time, what is required by the family and the yagya, every thought, every moment, mhm, to be in remembrance so that you can give sakash. Many eclipses, many obstacles come. They come individually, but also collectively. Mhm. Like these days here, it's a wave, it's influence. People are getting cold and allergy and mhm, sneezing and cough. So what we do, we have to be cautious. No? When we are cautious, mm, nobody wears mask here, then they start wearing social distances, whatever is required to protect yourself. Same is, mm, let's say suddenly, mm, a wave comes where everyone wants more respect, everyone wants more facility, everyone wants. So it's a kind of wave. And I don't want to get into that wave. No? Like yesterday, Baba said, when there is a current, it's so forceful that you can just flow with the current, but we don't have to flow with the current. We have to become very firm, determined, strong, that I don't come under that influence. There could be competition, there could be jealousy, but protect yourself. with the shield of yoga. And also, this is the way you can help other souls. It's so interesting that as we are towards the end of the journey, Maya will make many attempts to not only influence us, but take away our self-respect, take away our happiness. I always keep Brahma Baba in front of me because what I noticed that he was, of course, very jovial, light, but very introverted. And I could feel that how much attention he had on himself. Even if he's sitting, eating with everyone, and of course, when we sat with Baba, he never spoke while eating, but still we paid extra attention to be in remembrance while eating. So now is the time for us. Now is the time for us to become introverted, subtle effort maker. Doesn't mean that you don't communicate or talk or be light. You can and you should, right? But internally, because that's the contribution needed by the family and yagya at this time. I was thinking like a hunter. Maya becomes hunter. So what a hunter does, put some grains and then net on top of it. So birds see the grain, they don't see the net. So they come to eat the grains and they all caught up in the net. So Maya does same. Temptations, little bit greed, little bit of I and mine. And those grains if we start picking, whatever everyone is doing, I'm not going to do. So we have to be careful not to be caught up into that net. And then we find we are trapped and then we call out for Baba. But we have lost, no? So be careful, be cheerful, and practice for natural stage. And remember 3 qualities of Baba: bestower of blessings, forgiveness, not have any bad feelings for anyone, and also then be merciful so that you can continue to bestow. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. Om Shanti to everyone.
Transformation of old sanskars and old nature. Natural nature means your eternal sanskars. Let your nature constantly be like that of the Father, that is, constantly a bestower of blessings, constantly uplifting those who defame you, and constantly merciful. When you adopt this nature, you won't have to make effort in order to take happiness from nature. Adopt your own original and eternal nature. Natural nature means your eternal sanskars. If you remain under the influence of your body conscious nature, you repeatedly lose courage. You yourself say this, that you understand everything, that you want that, and yet, such is your nature. This too is the activity of body consciousness. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti Avakti Parivar. So here today is Baptada's day, but for you, it's tomorrow's Baptada's day. So yes, again we will have fortune to invoke our Baptada, invite him in Sakarvatan. So Avik the Baptada Milan, November 17. So time has been changed. So now it will be 7:30 a.m. Eastern time. So of course, transmission is available on YouTube also, but we will also do in Avekti Parivar. So it will start at 7:30. We'll have in English in main room, and for Hindi we'll have breakout room in Avekti Parivar Zoom. So if anybody would like to connect, you are welcome to do so. And now it's time for us to listen to our dear angel brother Ken. So welcome to Avekti Journey, living and serving with our Brahmin family. Welcome, dear angel brother Ken.
Om Shanti, dear sister Bhumi. Om Shanti, Didi. Om Shanti, everyone. Today, I think I want to share about one of the most important aspects of living and serving with our Brahmin family, which is the aspect of communication. I think if we did a survey, and I've done this actually many times, to see what probably is our biggest challenge here and there, I would definitely say communication is one of the main things that we need to improve. And it's especially in communication that our old nature deceived us. As Baba was saying, as Didi was saying, even we understand that we are wrong, still we continue. And I like this idea that natural means powerful, natural means clean. If we look at nature, and this is what our message for tomorrow is telling us, we look at sort of natural nature, the trees, the rivers, the sky, everything. There is a reason why we use the word nature. And when nature is natural, there's harmony there. You see the trees getting along with each other. You don't find the grass making effort to grow. You don't feel stress in the rivers or the forests or the clouds. It's only when storms come that after the storm, everything goes back to being calm and harmonious. And we have such a deep nature to our natural nature internally is to be okay, to be in harmony, to be a giver, and so on. But there's nothing like communication to bring out the worst in us, in a way. And yes, we do need to be cautious, to be respectful. We need to protect ourselves. We need to be able to help others. But if I were in this constant state of contentment and natural awareness, how would my communication be? And then when we lose that, when we move away from that, the two main problems that Baba always talks about in service and in our relationships are that I and my. And I've seen it. You've probably seen it yourself if you've been in a service meeting. People by themselves, they think that they're okay, they think that they're completely fine. But you put them into a meeting and then you start to see how really their sanskars are still acting up. And it's such a big obstacle in communication, these I and my. Why wasn't I consulted? Why did you get that person involved and not me? Why did you, the difficulty of sharing news that even Baba talks about in the morning. Why don't my children write to me? In those days, we need to know. The yajna needs to know if you are an instrument and you're doing something with the yajna and for the yajna, and let's say you commit a mistake, then you need to communicate about it, because the yajna will continue treating you like everything is okay, but it may not be. But then even in our relationship, we see and hear phrases like, how many times do I have to tell you this and that and the other? And we need to listen more and speak less, because that way we preserve our silence. And we should listen. And in communication, of course, there are two main qualities, listening and speaking. If I speak, I have to be clear. If I speak, I have to be very straightforward. I shouldn't beat around the bush. I should get to the point. I should say the things like Baba says, master and child. But when I'm listening, I have to go into the child mentality, and I have to listen more. I have to listen to understand and not listen to be understood. And of course, if I'm not in that consciousness, internally I'm content. I'm feeling I'm just flowing along with the natural nature of things. I'm okay, I'm in harmony. There isn't any desire, let's say, to interrupt someone rudely, to cut someone off. I mean, the other day I was talking to a Brahmin, they had difficulty with someone, and the argument of the person in charge was in cutting that person down to size. They were trying to make an opinion, and the person in charge says, but I am Baba here. Means that sort of arrogance is really hard to understand, but it comes out. I'm the one in charge here, listen to me. So there's an exaggerated sense of self-importance. When we're interacting with others, we are souls together in the family. If it's an administrative sort of situation, then of course there is a hierarchy. But as human beings interacting with other human beings, no one is better or worse than anyone else. So we have to be very careful about this. Now I'm going to show you something. And since this topic is such a big one, I think I'll have to do it in two parts, but that's okay too. I want to show you something which is really quite interesting. This is from the course itself, the course of Dharma-based leadership. I'm going to show you some pictures. So if you're not clear about the way to delegate, let's say, like in service especially, you've got someone who requests someone else to do something, and all of us who were involved in service, someone will request us. And there's a good way of doing that. But have a look at this, it's so funny. The NC will be the national coordinator. And this course, the Dharma-based leadership course, was organised for national coordinators and centre coordinators and department heads. So this is how the national coordinator visualised some plan, a swing with three seats to it. That's how the NC visualised it. But this is the opinion of the core team, the core service team, or even the board. They just want 2 planks and not 3. So there's a slight difference there, right? This is what the NC wants. So this is what the board or the service team is advising. This is how it was written into the guidelines. Sometimes our instructions are not just as we don't give such great instructions sometimes. They're not clear enough for people to understand and follow. as I said, clarity has to be there when we're sharing an idea. And then we write down those ideas in the guidelines, and they may not be easy to understand. So though we may be okay in what we say, when we write it down, it's different. So this is what happens when the guidelines come into play. And this is how, when it finally gets down to the center coordinator, the CC, this is how they've given the instruction, completely different from the idea of the NC and the board, right? And different from the guidelines even. And this is what they were able to install, you know, the people that help in the center, you and me, you know, we get together, we cooperate. There's an instruction, but it's not very clear. And this is what we end up being able to install. And this is what the center really needed. It wasn't a swing at all. It was a tire swing and not a wooden swing. And look at this, it gets worse actually. This is how we supported the program. I must say that the Avyak Parivar team has been a great example of consistency and support right throughout. So I think we all need to recognize that they've been able to create a team that really, really works very well. And therefore the communication amongst them must be really good. And this is finally how they end up supporting whatever their plan was. And it just goes on and on. And generally, you know, this is where we fail a lot in Brahma Kumaris. We don't document very well what we do. That means we don't write down how to do something so that other centers, other countries can learn from what we're doing. So it's like, it's a pity, really. And I want to stop sharing and go back to, you know, that whole sequence. If there was very clear communication from the beginning, in this case, what the center really wanted, and they got the board involved, they got the national coordinator involved, and it was very clear what they wanted. They discussed it, and, you know, people made questions, and then it ended up clear enough. And then, of course, you divide who's going to do what. And if you delegate something, you need to communicate very clearly with people. If you're someone to whom you've been delegated something, and this is the majority of us, if we're involved in service, someone will come and ask us if we'd like to do something. That's how it is. And that's natural too. But, you know, when we put all of this I and my to the side and put Baba in front, not only Baba's in front of us, Baba's also above us, guiding us. He's also behind us, giving us, you know, the push we need. He's giving us support from the back because Baba is the backbone. But also Baba is between us. So the way I talk to someone is absolutely appropriate according to Brahma. You know, according to Baba, that's in communication that I can show how close I am to Bapdada. That means how similar I am to Bapdada, rather Bapsaman. It's in the way I talk to people. It's in the way I listen to people. I'm not armed. I don't go into a conversation armed, you know, against someone, you know, with weapons against someone. Like the tongue is a very good weapon. We can use the tongue to be sarcastic. We can use the tongue to be ironic. We can use the tongue to be, you know, making some not so nice jokes about people. But we can also use our mouth to share the jewels that Baba gives us. So the essence of pure communication is that the words that are coming out of our mouths are the jewels. Not only jewels of knowledge, but gems of ideas for service and how I will cooperate and how I'd like people to cooperate. These are just like the basics of communication. And I will talk a little bit more about this in the next session. But so stay tuned, because it's such a vast topic, and it's something that all of us have to get right. It's not just, service is not just about thinking and doing. It's mainly between thinking and doing, there's speaking. There's speaking. And it's like, whatever I'm thinking will come out of my mouth, will come out of my actions too. So we can get a lot of marks speaking properly. As Baba says, speak less, speak sweetly, speak softly. And if you speak less, people will probably pay more attention. If you speak a lot, people won't pay attention to what you're saying. So we need to be listening, we need to be paying attention, we need to feel how people are, and then we have to share whatever is appropriate through our mouths. It's through our mouths that we give gyan too. So the art of communication is useful in the relationships in service, but very, very useful, of course, in the way we do service of others, how we communicate with others and how we give Baba's message. It's a vast topic. So let's have some meditation. Om Shanti, Om Shanti.
Transformation of old nature and old sanskars. Natural nature means your eternal sanskars. Let your nature constantly be like that of the Father, that is, constantly a bestower of blessings, constantly uplifting those who defame you, and constantly merciful. When you adopt this nature, you won't have to make effort. In order to take happiness from nature, adopt your own original and eternal nature. Natural nature means your eternal sanskars. If you remain under the influence of your body-conscious nature, you repeatedly lose courage. You yourself say for this, that you understand everything, that you want that, and yet such is your nature. This too is the activity of body consciousness.
पुरानी नेचर व संस्कारों का परिवर्तन, नेचुरल नेचर अर्थात अनादि संस्कार, बाप समान नेचर अर्थात सदा वरदानी, सदा उपकारी, सदा रहमदिल। इस नेचर को अपना लो तो मेहनत नहीं करनी पड़ेगी। नेचर अर्थात प्रकृति का सुख लेने के लिए अपनी ओरिजिनल अनादि नेचर को अपनाओ। नेचुरल नेचर अर्थात अनादि संस्कार। यदि देह भान की नेचर के वशीभूत रहते हो तो बार बार हिम्मतहीन बन जाते हो। जो स्वयं भी वर्णन करते कि समझते भी हैं, चाहते भी हैं, लेकिन मेरी नेचर है। यह भी देह भान की, देह की प्रवृत्ति है। ओम शांति।